Let's talk about back-end workflows from the perspective of lean development. Remember, to run a back-end workflow, to have it working in your Bubble app, you need to be on a paid Bubble plan. And also, you need to have gone into API and enabled workflow API and back-end workflows. That will make this additional option appear down the bottom of the page selector. And so we're going to go into back-end workflows here. And I'm going to go straight ahead and just create a new API workflow. And then I'm going to label this big action. Now, I don't need it to be public because I'm only going to trigger it internally in my app. Let me remind myself what I've got. Right, so this is a task manager coming along. So we'll say task. So I'll say task. And then I'm going to say that this is of type task. And that means that when I trigger this workflow, it's going to expect me to supply a task. And a task is going to be required. It's not optional unless I tick this box here. But then this allows me to treat it like any other workflow on a page. And one of the main reasons of considering using a backend workflow, in fact, let me give you a few reasons. One is if you want to repeat an action over and over again, and you're thinking, I just want this to be able to run reliably, the same start to finish, wherever I trigger it in my app. In that case, a backend workflow is perfect. You could also, of course, achieve the same thing with a custom event in a reusable element, but that's only if you have that element on every page. Backend workflows are like a step up in kind of overarching what you can do, where you can access them in your app. So I'm just going to do something a little bit silly, like say, take the task and change the status to completed. Okay, because that's going to allow me to now anywhere in my app trigger the change to completed. Now I say this is a bit of a silly example because this is a one action workflow that I could build in just a few seconds anywhere in my app. But imagine I had 20 different actions here. I wouldn't want to build that and add in all of those different actions in this workflow every time I wanted to do, respond to something that a user had clicked. So they click a button like the tick, and in a more complex task management app, I might have many things that follow on from clicking that tick. So in terms of length, you might think I'll put it in a backend workflow because also the user is not waiting. So the backend workflow runs in the backend. That means that the loading bar that goes across the top of the screen, that doesn't happen for a backend workflow. A backend workflow happens behind the scenes on the backend. Now, the flip side of that is they are a lot more tricky to debug because you can't run the debugger step by step going through and seeing what's happening. The best you can do is go into logs and then server log, and there's going to be nothing here because I've only just logged back into this app, but you would see the different steps here. It is a lot more tricky working out what's gone wrong, especially if you're running APIs and sometimes the APIs serve errors. That too is something to consider, is that if you're using a backend workflow, you're not going to see any errors caused in that backend workflow on the front end for your users. So let's just go back to our example here and go to our dashboard. How do I trigger this workflow? Well, all I need to do is say add a button in, trigger backend workflow. And actually, this is going to highlight another reason to consider backend workflows, because I go down to custom events and I say schedule API workflow. And then here it is, my big action, and it's going to ask me for a task. I have to supply a task in there. I've not got a repeating group, so I'm simply going to say send the first task from a search of tasks. And then I have another required field here, which is scheduled date. And so I could say current date time, in which case it would run immediately. But I could also say current date time plus 30 days. And what that will mean is that in logs, in the scheduler, I would see an entry up until the point where that workflow triggers, it runs, it activates, and then it is cleared from this log of what is going to occur in the future in the scheduler. One other reason to consider backend workflows is if I go back to the button here, I can say schedule on list. So now I could say the type of thing is tasks. The list to run on is all tasks, but it doesn't have to be all tasks. It could be tasks shown in a particular repeating group. I then say run the big action. Now, this is where people get confused. The task I want to say is this task, because I'm now talking about what do I want to do with one entry or each entry from this list of tasks. Well, I want to take this one task and feed it into my backend workflow. And then I could just, if I wanted to run it as immediately or as quickly as possible. Something else to consider there is that backend workflows do just queue up. It depends on the weight and the compute power that's needed, but you will notice a delay by queuing up backend workflows. But what this will mean is that it is going to now run this workflow for every task that I supply in that data source. And this is really useful for iterating through a list. And what I mean by iterating is sometimes you might have a list of 3 things, 3 tasks. You might have a list of 10 tasks. You might never know an exact number, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to account for it in the front end. But if you just supply the full list and you schedule it on list on a backend workflow, you can ensure that that task is run each time. An example being, it's a bit of a stretch from the essential course, but say you got an AI, OpenAI or Claude to generate X number of social media posts. Well, you could have a field for your user to enter how many social media posts they want to generate, but you want to create an entry in your database for every single one. So you would use scheduling on a list to say list through the different social media posts that have come back from the AI and create a social media post in the database for each one. So there you go. That is how you can work with backend workflows to increase the leanness of the development of your Bubble app. I'll see you in the next one.